everyone. We are back for another episode of the USADA Pitch, and this time I'm joined by two guests, our very own Chief Science Officer, Dr. Matt Fedoruk, as well as Team USA swimmer and TrueSport ambassador, Jordan Wilimovsky. So both of you are headed to Tokyo for the Games, and that's what we'll be talking about today. But first, I want to start by congratulating Jordan on making the Olympic team. What an amazing accomplishment. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you very much, and thanks for having me on.
Of course, thank you. So how does it feel to be headed to your second Olympic Games, especially at the uncertainties of 2020?
Yeah, just super thankful just to be here. I think, with the uncertainty of this last year and everything that was going on, I'm just really excited that the Games are taking place, and excited to go over there and represent the United States.
Awesome. Now, Matt, you've worked the Games before a number of times, but I know you're particularly excited about this one, so tell us more.
Yeah, definitely, Avery. I lived in Japan for 3 years when I was in my 20s, so I'm really excited to go back to Japan and experience the culture and spend time in a sports setting with athletes. And I'm honored to be a representative of the International Paralympic Committee and involved in overseeing the anti-doping program during the Paralympics.
That's awesome, Matt. And Jordan, what does a life look like as you're preparing for the Olympics?
General training and everything like that. So we swim 10 pool sessions a week, 2 weight sessions, and then some, stretching, dry land, physio, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, a lot of work being put in, and right now we're at our pre-Tokyo training camp in Hawaii, which is pretty cool. So we'll be here for a couple weeks getting to know the team and getting some more training in before we head off to Tokyo.
Very exciting. Are you doing anything differently because of COVID?
Yes, I think just this past year we've done a lot of different training, not by choice but by necessity. So we've been trying to find a different pool space and different times we can fit in workouts just to comply with all the COVID protocol and stuff like that. And then in terms of COVID affecting our training camp and stuff right now, it's pretty different than it normally is. There's a lot of more like self-checks, monitoring, testing, and we're just trying to kind of stay in a bubble. So the team isn't really leaving the hotel or anything like that other than to train, and I think it's going to be even stricter once we get to Tokyo.
Definitely, I've heard of that. And Matt, do you anticipate expecting similar circumstances as you prep for the Paralympics?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously the health of athletes and the Japanese public and the country are top of mind. So there's actually been playbooks that have been published that outline what you can and cannot do and what to expect from a health and safety process. So things like regular COVID testing, contact tracing, whereabouts, staying within a bubble and not being going out in public. Those are all things that we all expect and that are going to be a little different, but I still hope the excitement of the Games and the competition and the successes of athletes will shine through, which is why we're all there.
Exactly. And so we have these playbooks going into the Games, but do you anticipate that anything could change after the Olympics kick off? See how things are going. Could that change anything for the Paralympics afterwards?
Yeah, the playbooks, there's 3 versions that have been published. So the Olympics and the Paralympics have the same playbook, and obviously the processes have to be put in place and they're standardized. So we'll see how things are going. I anticipate that many of the same processes will carry over to the Paralympics because the same concerns exist for athletes coming into Japan and participating and competing. So I think the safety processes will run through the Games and hopefully everything will run smoothly and successfully.
Yeah, let's hope so. And that makes sense. Thanks, Matt. And Tokyo-bound person to Tokyo-bound person, Matt, do you have any questions for Jordan?
Yeah, Jordan, I just wondered, from an anti-doping standpoint, do you expect anything different for Tokyo?
It should be, hopefully pretty similar, but I think you just got to kind of go with what they're telling you. Just expect it to be a little different. I know they've told us we have to list all our medications and try and do a bunch of different stuff while entering the country to make sure we're complying with all their regulations, but I think for the most part, should run pretty smoothly. And USA Swimming and stuff's doing everything possible to make sure it's super easy for us to comply with anti-doping regulation and to get tested easily and have it all run really smooth.
Glad to hear you are getting the help and resources you guys need. And how long will you be able to be in Tokyo for?
Yeah, so we're at, like I said, our pre-Tokyo Hawaii training camp right now, and then we leave July 12th for Tokyo. Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to enter the village until I think about 5 days before my race. So I'll be at a USA training center over there until then. I'll enter the village, and then 5 days before I race the 5th, and then I leave the 6th because there's a 48-hour window after you compete until you're allowed to leave.
That's crazy to think about. So what's the plan for celebrating after you get back to the States?
Yeah, I think it'll be fun to see all my family and friends again who weren't able to make the trip over and celebrate with them.
Very cool. Well, that's it for today. Thank you both for being here. And Jordan, we wish you all the best in Tokyo. We'll see you all next time.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
Bye, good luck, Jordan.
Thank you.